think I can be seen. Hello, I know it's been an awful long time and I wanted to update. Gosh, I can't even remember the last YouTube I did. I've recorded an awful lot of YouTubes and then I never post them because I get in the middle of production and then I get distracted and I'm not able to finish. So I'm going to hopefully finish this one. And today is Tuesday, February 4th, 2020. And right now, President Trump is giving probably the State of the Union address. So I am going to instead do a recipe on how I make chicken curry. And through the Instant Pot, I was going to do it through the slow cooker. But then I took a nap, and now it's much later than I had anticipated. But just as by way of update, it is cold. Today it got up to, I believe, 32. That was high today. A couple of days ago it got up to 52. And it was really nice. A friend of mine, Matt, and I went out to Kilbourne Reservoir Park over on the east side of town, east side of Milwaukee, and took a look at there's an overhang there where you can look out onto the city, and that was really, really nice. I'm going to go out there sometime when it's warmer and maybe do some watercolor painting if I'm in the mood. But anyway, it was really nice looking at the city. I'm going to try to post some shots and some footage here. Oh, that's Pumpkin's head. She's wondering what's blinking in the camera. But anyway, it's been pretty warm. Pretty cold. 32. It's going to be down to 25 degrees tonight. And I usually am okay. I really don't have any problems with any of the weather here until it gets to below 20. Then I get to be uncomfortably cold, which, it amazes me. I mean, how much I can get around in this cold without it really bothering me too much. Okay, that's it. Now if you're going to block my view. No, don't rub against, no rubbing against the camera. All right, but I've just been amazed. If I had been in Phoenix and it got to be below 65, we wouldn't go out. I mean, we'd stay inside and turn the heat on high, right? Space heaters and all. Whereas here, I don't know. I guess I just decided that I was going to, suck it up and just deal with it, because this is my home now, Milwaukee, and it's winter a lot here. But the summers here are to die for. It's kind of the absolute inverse of Phoenix. Phoenix, the summers were brutal, and I hated summer, but the winters were to die for. So now we flip-flopped across the country and to a different climate, to different kind of weather, and so this is what we have. So I've just kind of taken it upon myself to not allow myself to be really limited in my activity. I still go to the gym. I don't walk to the gym anymore during the winter unless it's above like 35 or 40 degrees. It's just an uncomfortable walk, even though it's only about a 10-minute walk. And I don't want to get there chilled because then it takes an awful lot longer for me to warm up. So what I prefer to do is to go there. In the summertime I'll walk, springtime I'll walk, but in the wintertime, for the most part, I'm driving. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Sinai Medical Center, doing pretty good there. I was supposed to take over charge, or rather be one of the rotating charges back several months ago. My boss asked me if I was still interested in doing it, and to be quite honest, that was why they paid to move me here, because they needed somebody to take over charge. But they have so many talented young nurses, and I just felt like, I can always lead, I can always be a leader, and I am, clinically, I do lead when I'm there. There's a couple of other more seasoned nurses that are just as seasoned as I am. But for the most part, most of our staff are relatively new grads. Many are within their first year of practice, and virtually everyone is within their first 3 years of practice. And so, texting, wow, bright bubble that distracted me. What was I saying? So they're all really new practitioners, but they do have some nurses that seem to want to be charged, and I'm like I'm all for that. I should support them, right? Rather than trying to take that experience from them of being leader. Why don't I let them be leader, and then I can support them, right? Plus, then I don't have to do things like scheduling and what do I do about absences and tardies and it's nice that I'm now no longer the police officer of the floor, right? I could just live life, go to work, take care of my patients, sometimes be charged. But for the most part, other people are charged, and I really prefer that because I really have enjoyed working with my patients, right? And so I had forgotten. Who goes into nursing in order to be a charge nurse? No one, I don't think. And so it was really nice to get back into that. Yeah, so it's really nice working with the patients, working with new nurses. I mean, they're really, some of them are really spanking brand new. I mean, like new grad, new. And so, trying to go through all the things that I was wondering about, like how to keep on top of charting and how to maintain a presence in the room. And at sometimes we have at Sinai, because of our staffing crunches, we can have as many as 7 telemetry patients assigned to us per night shift. That's not the usual. The usual is 5, and then we can admit into the 6th patient. But sometimes we have to go to 7 because of absences, and there is not that they don't use agency. There just simply are none. So there's no staffing available that I know of, that I've heard of. So Aurora, our network, we're composed of, oh gosh, I'm going to blow it here. I want to say 6 or 7 hospitals in the Chicago and Wisconsin states, and might even be more. Maybe we have like a dozen. I do not know. But they have their own, not only their own local hospital per diem workers or PRN workers, but they also have a network wide. So if you agree to, you get more money if you agree to go to like 3 or 4 hospitals, or you can be just for one particular hospital. So, but even then, there's just no one, especially in the winter now that flu season has started. I mean, a lot of people are getting knocked out by the flu. All right, so with that, and just a little update, I'm doing really well. I've lost a lot of weight. I think you can tell through the camera. I seem to look pretty. I mean, I still have, baby cheeks here. These are baby cheeks. What am I going to do about them? Nothing I can do. But, I'm really seeing some really good development in my arms and my legs. I'm not going to embarrass myself and put my legs on the film until I get them real big. Then I'll show you my legs. But, I'm really proud of my physical progress. And I bought some new jeans because I've lost so much weight that my old jeans that I've had since college, not since college, but probably since 2000 or so, they are just falling off. I had an embarrassing situation downtown where, my pants literally were down around my knees because they were so loose, and my belt couldn't keep on. And so, so I decided to get a new pair of jeans, and it took me a delay. It's been like almost 2 weeks since I bought them, so I took them in today to be hemmed up, and I've lost so much weight even since I bought the jeans that those jeans are now a little bit too big. I mean, I can still almost pull them off without unclasping the button. So, which, it's like, gosh. But I don't appear to be really thin. I don't think I look that thin. Okay, so now we're going to go into the kitchen, and I'm going to show you how I make my chicken curry. And then if I haven't already done so, I'll also clip in some pictures of that park. Okay, so here we are in the kitchen. Didn't realize what poor lighting there is in here. I had to bring in a desk light so that I could record in here. This is probably the first time I think that I recorded in here during the nighttime. Normally there's sun streaming through these 2 windows back there in our kitchen, and so normally our kitchen's pretty well lit. I mean, it can be kind of dull in the nighttime when I cook, but I mean, I really don't cook that much, so I mean, this kitchen is pretty big for me. All right, so anyway, but what I was going to do was show you my ingredients for this chicken curry, and some of the ingredients that I usually put in there I forgot to get. So this is going to be like a really stripped down 3 ingredients chicken curry. Right, so I've got a ridiculous amount of chicken thighs. That's my favorite cut. I have a friend who shall go nameless, but it's Matt, who hates chicken thighs. I'm like going, what an alien concept, right? So anyway, so I've got chicken thighs. I'm only going to cook 4. There are 8 here. I'm only going to cook 4, and I've decided that I'm going to debone and skin them. Because that's what I prefer that way. And then if I have any leftovers, I can take them to work when I go to work tomorrow. I also have actually I brought 2 cans. Let's see if I can get it to of this. I do not know how available this brand of light coconut milk is. It's at a little grocery store called Gropey's that I really like to frequent. It's in our neighborhood. I can walk to it. Not today, I didn't, but I could walk to it. And this is just what they had. All right, so Roland Light coconut milk, but you can use any kind of coconut milk, and you can use not light. This is light, so it's 60 calories per 1/3 cup, and I'll use this entire can for 4 thighs. Might even use 2 cans because I like a lot of gravy with my chicken curry. So that, and then I have some like garlic salt. Sea salt. It's a mixture that we bought from before we moved out here, and some pepper, and then I'm going to use this jar of garam masala. That's the brand name of it. The brand name is Rani, R-A-N-I, Rani brand garam masala. This I got off Martha Stewart. She was doing she was doing some kind of show years ago, and she said that this was her favorite, and Amazon had. She said you could order it online. I looked at Amazon and they had it, and so I got this delivered quite a while ago, and then I finally cracked it open. I can't remember how much seasoning I put in because I think I usually just kind of wing it, but I want to say I put in a tablespoon. I don't think there's a right or wrong amount, but I like my curry to be pretty flavorful. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to angle this down so that you can see how I debone the chicken. What I might do is I might... Okay, let's see if I can just... Maybe I can just angle this. Oops. Angle this down. Let's see if I can do that. Alright, not too bad. Alright, so what I do, my hands are impeccably clean. So, and all that I do, let me make sure you can see what I'm doing here. Maybe I should bring you a little closer in. There we go. No, then of course the light's all wrong. I don't know if you can see this or not. But I looked this up on YouTube, right? And so all I do is I try to find that fat line, and then I go down the fat line down to the bone, and then I just kind of excavate around the... I need a better knife than this. Okay, I excavate around the bone from both directions. I am a little bit more wasteful than someone who does this a lot. I'm sure that if you really practice a lot, like it is the part where I kind of go under the bone, go through, and I make a little tunnel, and then we're trying to not stab myself, and then pull up alongside the bone. Then I kind of push down from the other side until I get it like this. This is not a great tutorial, right? But then you'll end up with a knob of like cartilaginous material here at the end. And so I just kind of, I know it's kind of wasteful, but I don't like to have all that fat and cartilage in there, right? And then I take off the skin, just like, this is quite brutal. I'm just going to lay that there. And then I just trim off a little bit of fat. Or actually I'm not, and then this little fat layer here, if you wanted to, like if you were going to fry it or something like that, I would slit it there so that it lays flat, alright? So I'm going to do 4 of these now. So once again, and I've been out of practice. I haven't done this in a while. So I find a fat line. This is almost all done anyway. This is almost down to the bone from how the butcher processed this chicken. So I'm just going to go through here. Again, what I'm trying to do is just make a tunnel that I can poke my knife through, and then without stabbing myself, I just very carefully go along the bone from one end, then I go down the other, like this. Then you get that knob of connective tissue at the end. And then, you can save this for, stews and chicken stock. Now, I've heard so many people say that on TV, and I just wonder how many people really do that. Like, even though I just told you that I could use that, save that, and I could put that in and make some chicken stock, I'm going to tell you the truth, that this is going to go into the trash can. Right? I mean, so I freely admit that what I told you about making chicken stock for me, that was an absolute lie. And so I just wondered how much that happens in real life. Okay, so once again, I'm looking for the fat line here, and then I excavate out from both sides so that I can make that tunnel for my knife. I go under with my knife, careful not to cut myself. This is the dangerous part. Okay, then I go around. Is it even being captured? I hope so. Let's see. This could be edited out. Alright, then I just stabbed myself. It's not bleeding. I'm okay. Alright, and then I do this. Pull this chicken skin off. Okay, like that. Okay. I'm not going to pound it out or cut it because it's going into the Instant Pot. Right, so once again, right along that fat line. Excavate around the bone so I can make my tunnel. There we go, with my knife. Try not to stab myself. This is a big one. Okay, that's what he said. Okay, then go this way. Go all the way around. Yes, I am being kind of wasteful here. But I really don't like, biting into a piece of grizzle. So I am somewhat I do trim off quite a bit. And then I do that lie about how I could use it for chicken stock. And then I probably throw it away in the trash. Right, so just scraping off the skin. A little bit of fat there. I'm just going to take that off. Alright, so now I have these chicken wings. I'm sorry, chicken thighs. And now I'm going to put them in the Instant Pot. So let me re-angle the camera. I may just carry it. Alright, let me see. So this is my Instant Pot. Ooh, what a harsh light from that angle. Let's go this angle. Instant Pot, okay. And then this, I'm just going to put this here so you can watch me do it. It's really not a big, huge production. Let me make sure you can see it. Okay, so I take the Instant Pot off. Oh, I've got to plug in my Instant Pot. So I've got to unplug our... Okay, alright. And then you can brown these. I don't see the need to. All right, so I'm just gonna plop these in here. Okay, then I'm going to go off and open my can of coconut milk. So I'm just going to dump this whole can. And I think that's gravy-ish enough. I think it's going to make enough gravy the way that it is. So I'm just going to stir it around a bit. Oh, I've got a fork instead of a spoon, so I'm going to need to throw that into the thing. And then I'm going to take my garam masala. And then I had a measuring spoon. Let's see if 1 teaspoon smells right. I go by smell. So I have a feeling I'm going to use 3 if I had to guess. So there's 1. And I'm going to stir that around. Oh, sorry, my dear. Apologizing to my cat. Alright, so I'm just smudging that around. Oh, now when I make this, if I have all the ingredients, I usually brown or saute some onions until they are translucent. And also I can cut up potatoes in here at this point because it's only going to cook for like 15 minutes, so potatoes will be very soft when you are done with them. Put that there. Okay. I think I'm going to put in, oh hell, I think I'm going to just put in 2 teaspoons. 2.5, 2, something like 2. Around 2-ish. 2 to 3-ish. But there really is not a right or a wrong amount. If you'd like, I like the flavor of curry, but maybe you like it more, and you'll want to put in way more than that. Okay, so now I'm going to put the top on. Okay, and then I'm going to just put it on manual for 15 minutes. Okay, and then I'll cut you back in at the tail end. I'm waiting for that little pin to come up. It's coming up to pressure now. And I forgot to put the salt and pepper in, so I snuck in there after I turned you off, and I put some sea salt mix and some pepper. You can add whatever seasonings you like. I'm just doing the whole pin thing, because that's what everybody does on YouTube. Everybody just loves to catch this pin come up. It's gonna almost come. It's coming soon. I can hear it. There we go. I shook the lid. I cheated. I shook the lid a little bit because I thought I didn't want the milk to scorch. Now, I've made this recipe several times, and I've never had any problems with the scorching of the milk, because I know that that's probably like a big concern as to whether, I'm not even sure if I'm in frame, is whether or not the milk will survive the Instant Pot coming to pressure. But it might scorch a tiny, tiny little bit, but not to where it burns. It never adds any kind of burn flavor, because that would be gross. I have learned some lessons working with the Instant Pot now for 2 years, and the first thing is that you really should stick around to make sure that that pin comes up. One time I forgot, or I had the knob turned the wrong way. I had the knob turned to release, and and I think wasn't making rice, and it boiled all the water off because it could never get to pressure because the hatch was open. And so it boiled away all the liquid, and it was still on high temperature, high heat. And luckily, I walked back into the kitchen and noticed that it was still struggling to, like it had been boiling for 10 or 15 minutes, and it had not come to pressure. And then I realized that I did not put it on right. One time, I also I did not seat the seal correctly in there. The seal was kind of warped; it got warped in there, and I did not check to make sure that it was in there really good. And so it won't make a seal then. And then it'll look like steam coming out from all over the top of all the sides. So I do like to stick around to make sure that it engages. All right, I'll catch you up at the tail end. Okay, we're getting on to the last minute. And I don't really... why am I recording this? Because I'm going to let this depressurize naturally. I'm not going to quick release. I'm just going to, as soon as this thing beeps that it's done, I'm going to just let it sit for about 10 minutes. I'll set a timer on my phone for about 10 minutes. And then, I didn't mention this in the ingredients, but I'm going to add about, I'd say maybe a half to 2/3 cup of frozen peas. I didn't put them in during the heating cooking part because, then they'll come out really mushy. But if you put frozen peas in now, the heat of the I am going to so I am, okay, so let's start this again. Okay, so we're back. It rang about a minute ago. So it goes into warm, and if I probably would just leave it and let it cool down naturally, but we're kind of in a hurry now. It's about 9 o'clock in the evening now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push the top and let all the steam out. Oh, this is what I'm going to add. I'm going to add some peas. I don't add them when the chicken is cooking. I will wait until the chicken is done, because if you put these in here and let it cook for 11 minutes or 15 minutes, they'll overcook. Whereas if you put them in now, with the heat of the liquid in there, it'll be fine after about 10 minutes or so. If you want it softer, you can bring it up to temperature, like you use the steam option for a minute or something like that. Just bring it up to boil and then settle it down. Or you can boil the peas separately, something like that. But to me, it's perfectly fine. It does have a little bit of a firmness to it, which I kind of like. Not necessary to be able to gum it, so. We're getting close. I can barely hear the hissing. Meanwhile, I'll cut this thing open. You can also use the mixed one, the one that's got peas and carrots and, diced carrots and corn. That's also good too. I like that. It hasn't popped in yet. There we go. Alright, so now I'm going to open it. I'm just going to show you what it looks like. Okay, so that's kind of what it looks like. Alright. Okay. And then I'm just going to add, I'm guessing here, just whatever you like. I'm going to add about, I would say, maybe 1/3 to 1/2 of this bag. I always like to mix it around to make sure I don't overdo it. Oh no, it's got plenty of room. I made a lot of broth this time. Not going to do this whole thing. I should eat peas. Alright, and then I just mush it down in there. Okay. That's perfect. And then, whoops, steam, sorry. And then I just keep it covered. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it on warm. I don't know, I'm not going to be ready to eat for another half an hour. And then I just serve this out. If in the old days, I would serve it over rice, but I will probably serve it with just a salad and just eat it on its own. If I felt like it, I might thicken the liquid. It did seem kind of thin to me, and if I felt like it, I could thicken it with some cornstarch and cold water slurry. But usually when it cools down, and especially if you're going to eat it out after day one, if you're going to eat it, at some other time later, then it does totally fine. All right, so that's the chicken curry that I make. I do this about once a month or so, with a different kind of recipe. The other really easy thing to do, but I just wanted to do something different, is to just dump an entire jar of pre-made curry sauce. Pitak, P-I-T-A-K. I get that at the grocery store. They have a complete line of a variety of different curries, yellow and red curries that you can put in there. And I just put, for 4 chicken thighs like that, I would put one entire jar in like that. And then just dump it in there. You don't even have to put anything else in there, any seasonings or anything. It all comes in the jar. And then I do the exact same thing, about 11 to 15 minutes for the whole thing, and then it comes out really, really nice. But I wanted to do something different, so I wanted to use the coconut milk, and then I just kind of put myself in a bad situation without having any ingredients. All right, so that's chicken curry. That's my life, just my little bit of update. I don't know. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, I do want to continue my experiment with this YouTube stuff. I really like the idea of YouTubing. I think that it's a fantastic medium, and I still want to consider doing something for my masters. And I may use my YouTube channel, which has like 3 or 4 subscribers. Thank you all. But I might try to grow it and actually, try to link to it and encourage people to subscribe. Try to produce something every 2 weeks. I think every week is just too much with my schedule. And I think I might concentrate on my training. I think that the only thing that I've got going that's interesting that I can actually film, because I can't film what I do. I can't film nursing. Because of HIPAA, so I can't do that. So I've got to do something, interesting. What would you be interested in? Well, it might be interesting to take an older person's stance on weight training, right? Because at 57 years old, I mean, even though this is the best lifting experience that I've ever had in my life. I mean, when I was younger, in my 20s, and then again in my 30s, I lifted weights when I was in my 20s. That's when I went to Wolfgang's gym in Richmond, Virginia, and that was a good experience because of the person that I was working out with. I was working out with a guy that I met in college, and then a girl, a nurse, a friend of mine that I made at St. Mary's Hospital in Richmond, Virginia. And so working out with them was really what got me into the gym. It was not any inherent desire on my part to get healthy or bulk up or thin down. So now at the age of 57, now I'm really going, and I really love going. I mean, I just love the camaraderie at the gym that I go to. I go to Brickyard Gym. And the owner there, Kenny, is just so wonderful. I mean, he's an old school, weightlifting, bodybuilding sort of mentality about it. Really believes in running a friendly place, and his place is just incredibly friendly. It's the first gym that I've ever been to, and I've been to, I guess, maybe a dozen in my lifetime that I have joined and hardly ever went to. This is the first one that I really enjoy going to, and Brickyard, everybody there is just really friendly. As long as you are friendly and open and willing, interested to talk. I mean, there are people there that love to talk. It's the chattiest gym I've ever been in. Right? And the trainers there, I go to 2 trainers, Eric and Nicole. They work, they run Scott Strength. That's what it's called, one word, Scott Strength. Here in Milwaukee, and I was watching them work with their clients, and just was really amazed at how safe, how instead of pushing you to where you could injure yourself, they seemed really sticklers for absolute perfect form. And so, I mean, that's the key to not injuring yourself and to have really good, safe gains, is to make sure that you're lifting and you're using really perfect form. And so I took on Scott Strength, Eric and Nicole. Mostly Nicole works with me to make sure that I'm doing things that are safe. And with my limitation, I had a very old shoulder injury with my right shoulder years ago. I yanked it on a cable crossover machine, and I did notice that it had way too much weight for me, and I just yanked it, and then I think it didn't tear, but I think I hurt my right shoulder. And so, and also I have really bad knees because I have a really bad case of advanced arthritis, bone-on-bone arthritis due to gout. And so, and I told her, I can't afford at this stage in my life. I'm not 20. I'm not 30. I can't afford to enter myself to where I can't work. And so she and Eric really, took that to heart. And when I work with them, I only work with Nicole about once every 2 weeks. I mean, there are people that work out with their trainer every time, but I really like working out in solitude. I usually have my headphones going, and I really like working out by myself. And that's until somebody comes up and wants to talk. There's like a dozen people at that gym that when we see each other, we'll take our phones out and we'll headphones out, and we will chit chat with each other. But I might ask Kenny if I can tape there and record some of what I do, and maybe those people out there who are older. Studies show that it is good for older people to use resistance training in order to conserve muscle mass, so they don't go through degenerative muscle wasting as they go into their later years. And so, I mean, I've taken it to an extreme. I'm actually working out as hard, if not harder, than I was when I was 20 and 30. And so, I mean, I'm taking it to an extreme. But you could tone it way down and just, do a more moderate level of weight resistance training, and with some moderate cardio. And that's what I plan to do. And hopefully I can stick with it. And I think that if I did it on YouTube, it would give me some accountability, even if I have a very small audience, because I really don't care about the audience. I mean, but most of the people connect with me through my Facebook account anyway. But okay, so that's me, and so I'm going to try to do a video. My goal is to do one every 2 weeks, and we'll just have to see how that goes, because most of you who know me know that I get distracted by bright, shiny objects very often, and so I could get caught up in some other project. But I'm not distracted now by any leadership concerns. I have zero leadership responsibilities. I know this is going to be disheartening to some of you, but man, I don't miss it. I really don't. I do miss being your leader. I miss working with each and every one of you, and I do miss my nurses from Phoenix. Every day I realize, what I lost by not being in Phoenix with Honor Health anymore. But, I've also gained an awful lot. I have a much more diverse lifestyle now. I'm out and about. I'm outside. I'm out in the sun. For those of you who know me from Phoenix, I mean, that should be a shocker. I'm actually outside purposefully. I mean, and no one's dragging me along. Brent is not dragging me out of the apartment. I'm actually going of my own volition, and I'm getting in the car, and I'm driving. I'm driving myself around. I mean, good God, I'm like 14 years old again. So out and about, in the sunshine, in the daylight. I've decided that I'm not going to sleep for night shift every day. On my days off, I flip over so that I sleep at night, so that I can be awake during the day. And so, and that has really, really been nice. I didn't know how much I was missing out on life by just maintaining a night shift existence all the time. I mean, I'm not going to do that anymore. And so, I mean, I really like it. And plus, it's a lot. What I do is I only take I take Restoril to help me sleep. I only take those on the days that I have to sleep during the day to go to work. If I'm not working, I don't take it. So my intake of Restoril is a lot less. I think that I'm sleeping better. I'm sleeping on my own on my days off. I don't need any sleep medication to help me go to sleep, and that's new. That's totally new. All right, so that's me in a nutshell. More than a nutshell. This is going to be half an hour, I know. And I know, I am a chatty patty. I hope everybody's doing really well. And Milwaukee's fine, but cold. And we're doing pretty good. Everybody's doing really good. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.